lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. Go ahead and start out before I get too distracted with what I am reading and what I am drinking today. I am reading House of Leaves, which is part of why I'm so excited. It's pretty interesting so far. Honestly, haven't gotten very far into it, but I'm filming a whole vlog for it and I'm super excited about it so far. And I am drinking coffee, seasoned with pumpkin spice creamer. Last month, I ended up reading 31 books in 31 days. This month, I'm going to take some of that pressure off of myself because I don't want to do that again. It was fun, don't get me wrong. I was able to get it done in plenty of time. I still had several days left, but I would prefer to take things a little bit low-key this month. That being said, we are still drawing names from the pumpkin in November, but I'm going to stick with 15 names for now. We'll see if we need more. I doubt that we will though, because one of the books that I'm also reading is House of Leaves, which is an undertaking from what I understand. Hell, I don't even know if I'll end up reading any of the books that I pull from this. That being said, let's get into it. I drew a pink. The first book is Nettle and Bone. This is exciting for me because I love T. Kingfisher, which is who this is by. T. Kingfisher generally tells stories that originally probably would have been fairy tales, but told in a very grim way. She started off writing kids' books, but no one would publish her because they thought it was too dark, so she decided she was just going to embrace the dark and do horror stories that had childish lilts, I guess would be the best way to put it. She did The Hollow Places, Twisted Ones, and most recently What Moves the Dead, which was a retelling of the House of Usher and was so good. The book stars a girl named Mara whose sisters are basically being abused by the prince, and she seeks out help. I will read this from Goodreads. On her quest, Mara is joined by the Grave Witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, and a chicken possessed by a demon. Together, the five of them intend to be the hand that closes around the throat of the prince and frees Mara's family and their kingdom from its tyrannous ruler at last. That sounds like a lot of fun. Alright, number 2. Get a green. This one is Jawbone. It sounds like this book is going to be all over the place. There's kidnapping, apparently. There's an academy. There's rituals. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It sounds like dark academia, but I'm not positive what's going on here. This is one of those that I think I want to go in knowing as little as possible, though. Number 3. Blue. Neverwhere. I'm excited. I love Neil Gaiman. He's one of my favorite authors. So this one, from what I've gathered, is basically about a darker side of London, like the underworld of London, which sounds super interesting. I've not read anything by Neil Gaiman so far that I didn't absolutely love, so I'm sure that I'm gonna love this. So I realized that for the last book, I didn't mention the name of the author. It is Monica Oeda. Trying to do this quick today. Number 4. Come on. Got a yellow. Nothing but blackened teeth. So, this is by Cassandra Claw, and it sounds like it's going to be a haunted house type thing. A bride died there, and her ghost remains, and some friends apparently decide that they're going to go there for a wedding venue for whatever reason, and end up being interrupted by the bride. So we'll see how that goes. Number 5. I don't have an orange yet. Let me see if I can find an orange. I don't know if I have any left. I actually didn't know that I had this in here. Thanks, past me. Stalking Jack the Ripper. Stalking Jack the Ripper is by Carrie Maniscalco, and it basically circulates around the daughter of a lord who secretly does forensic medicine, like in the dark of night on her own, and her work has recently led her to the string of murders being committed by Jack the Ripper, which she needs to investigate. seen this book everywhere, but I've never read it. I don't know much about it, honestly, so I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Number 6. A Blue. I'm kind of surprised that this is my first Stephen King one. If It Bleeds by Stephen King, it is a series of short stories, which I have started to read several times and then just never continued because something else kept on popping up. But now it is on my list. We will see. I believe we're on number 7. Let's go. Green. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this on here or not. I think I need to introduce this. This is the second Stephen King book that's popped up. I have like 3 Stephen King books in here. Didn't draw a single one for my last one, just drew a sun, I guess. But still, what the hell? This is a huge, huge Stephen King book. Hold on, I actually have a physical copy of this one. 1 second. This is part of the reason that I started hysterically laughing. It is 1,090 pages. It is huge. Like, I really don't know if this is gonna happen, but we're gonna see. I'll put it on the list. I don't think I really have to explain what this is. A bunch of kids start being, murdered by a clown, and shenanigans ensue. I'm happy that I got one that I actually have a physical copy of, but did it have to be it? Like, I have fucking, like, Wilder Girls over there. I know that's in the pumpkin. Why can't I draw that one? That one's short, and it's not intimidating. Number 8. Yellow. Surprised that I drew 2 yellows because there aren't a lot of them in there. The House Across the Lake. This book is by Riley Sager, who I have never read before in my life. I keep on seeing this book everywhere. It is about a widowed actress who basically is trying to escape and moves into a lake house. There is a couple that lives next door that seems perfectly nice. She saves the life of the wife, I believe. I think she saves her from drowning, and they sort of start to become friends, and then she vanishes. And obviously, the main character, Casey, she suspects the husband, of course, because, like, it's always the husband. So that seems like it's going to be interesting. It sounds very, What Lies Beneath, which is one of my favorite horror movies. Alright, number 9. Green. This is by Rudy Ruiz, and it sounds like a western. It takes place in 1883 West Texas. It's very western, like a series of lethal crimes start happening, and an old lawmaker is brought in to try and establish peace. Sorry about that. My husband got home early, and I don't like recording when other people are in the house, so I had to just kind of pause it and pick up later. It is now like 1 a.m., but we're gonna get this recorded one way or another. That being said, I did discover something while I was looking back over the books that I had drawn. I have already read The Too Clever Fox. It was in Language of Thorns, which I read in the last set of vlogs. I just didn't recognize the names, or the name, rather. So I'm switching it out for my library book that I borrowed called Deep Water. It is by C.A. Fletcher, and it sounds pretty interesting. It's kind of like Plague on a Small Island-esque, if I remember correctly. Yes, it's a waterborne illness, and it starts to spread on this island, so they just kind of get cut off from the rest of humanity. No idea why the rabbit is on the front. I'm guessing maybe it has something to do with the blight upon humanity. It is a very cool cover, though, I will say that. I'm also adding House of Leaves to the list because I'm going to read this either way, and it might as well count towards my count. And since I'm adding it to the total as well, since my husband, chided me, basically, until I did it, he's a huge Stephen King fan, absolutely loves it, and was basically like, you are never going to read that book if you don't put it on there now. Which is totally true, but shut up. But that brings us to 12. And now we will choose our 13th from the pumpkin. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna grab one from the bottom. Blue. The Hole. I don't remember anything about this at all. Okay, so The Hole is a translated work that was originally written in Korea by Ha Young-pyeon and was translated by Sora Kim Russell. Okay. A bestseller in Korea, a psychological thriller about loneliness and the dark truths we try to bury. In this tense, gripping novel by a rising star of Korean literature, Oh-ji has woken from a coma after causing a devastating car accident that took his wife's life and left him paralyzed and badly disfigured. His caretaker is his mother-in-law, a widow grieving the loss of her only child. Oh-ji is neglected and left alone in his bed. His world shrinks to the room he lies in, and his memories of his troubled relationship with his wife, a sensitive, intelligent woman who found all of her life goals thwarted except for one, cultivating the garden in front of their house. But soon Oh-ji notices his mother-in-law in the abandoned garden, uprooting what his wife had worked so hard to plant and obsessively digging larger and larger holes. When asked, she answers only that she is finishing what her daughter started. As Oh-ji desperately searches for a way to escape, he discovers the difficult truth about his wife and the toll their life together took on her. So that sounds interesting. It has some serious misery vibes. Alright, we have 2 left. This is number 14. Trying to get one from the bottom again. Green. I drew the name of the book that I put on there anyway. Hilarious. Okay, that worked out. Okay, take 2. 14. I've already read this one. It's Funicula. Okay, take 3, I think. Number 14. I got a yellow one this time. Have I read this one? My Heart is a Chainsaw. No, I haven't read this one. I have heard of this book. I've heard a lot about it, but I don't actually know what it's about, oddly enough. So we're gonna see. It is by Stephen Graham Jones, and it is described as, in her quickly gentrifying rural lake town, Jade sees recent events only her encyclopedic knowledge of horror films could have prepared her for. Jade Daniels is an angry, half-Indian outcast with an abusive father, an absent mother, and an entire town that wants nothing to do with her. She lives in her own world, a world in which protection comes from an unusual source: horror movies. Especially the ones where a masked killer seeks revenge on a world that wronged them. And Jade narrates the quirky story of Prufrock as if it is one of those movies, but when blood actually starts to spill into the waters of Indian Lake, she pulls us into her dizzying encyclopedic mind of blood and masked murderers and predicts exactly how the plot will unfold. So this is interesting. On Goodreads, I am following Books and Lala and TB Kane, you know, the booktubers. Kayla, I believe, is her actual name from Books and Lala, rated it 5 stars and says that it was one of their top 3 favorite books from 2021. Awesome. Then TB Kane comes along and says, I actually hated this and gave it 1 star. Very interesting. I generally have closer book tastes to Kayla, but I respect the opinions of TB Kane, so we'll see how this ends up. Last one, number 15. Let me feel around on the bottom. Blue. The Weight of Blood. I am excited about this one. I keep on hearing about it. I don't necessarily know a lot about the plot, other than it's supposed to kind of be like a modern Carrie. I mean, look at that cover. It's by Tiffany D. Jackson, though, and Goodreads says, author Tiffany D. Jackson ramps up the horror and tackles America's history and legacy of racism in this YA novel following a biracial teenager as her Georgia high school hosts its first ever integrated prom. When Springville residents, at least the ones still alive, are questioned about what happened on prom night, they all have the same explanation: Maddie did it. An outcast at her small-town Georgia high school, Madison, Washington has always been a teasing target for bullies, and she's dealt with it because she has more pressing problems to manage. Until the morning, a surprise rainstorm reveals her most closely kept secret: Maddie is biracial. She's been passing for white her entire life at the behest of her fanatical white father, Thomas Washington. Oof. After a viral bullying video pulls back the curtain on Springville High's racist roots, student leaders come up with a plan to change their image, host the school's first integrated prom as a show of unity. The popular white class president convinces her black superstar quarterback boyfriend to ask Maddie to be his date, leaving Maddie wondering if it is possible to have a normal life. But some of her classmates aren't done with her just yet, and what they don't know is that Maddie still has another secret, one that will cost them all their lives. Also, apparently Jessie from Bow Ties and Books gave it 5 stars, so that already has me feeling optimistic towards this. Alright, so those are the 15 books that I'm going to be reading in November. Now, I'm not going to restrict myself to those 15 books. If I feel like reading something else, I can. If I decide that I don't want to read one of these books, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to force myself to read something or force myself not to read something. This is just kind of a guideline. The only book that I 100% do want to read is House of Leaves, and I'm not going to restrict myself to reading this just this month. If I have to renew it and continue reading it in December, I will, but I want to take my time with this one and soak in the spookiness. So I'm optimistic. It seems like it's going to be a good reading month. Thank you for watching this video. I certainly do appreciate it so much. Wait, don't leave yet. Okay, so apparently there was a clerical error and I skipped a number somewhere. I don't know where I skipped a number, but we need to draw another one, so glad I noticed that. Okay, whichever one this is going to be replacing, I don't even know which one I skipped. I have no idea. This is a pink. Gallant. I'm here for it. Okay, this is a book by V.E. Schwab or Victoria Schwab, whichever one you call her. I don't know. I don't know if she has a preference. She's kind of signed books in both. Anyway, focus. From what I understand, it is a dark academia book. Everything casts a shadow, even the world we live in, and as with every shadow, there is a place where it must touch, a seam where the shadow meets its source. Olivia Pryor has grown up in Maryland School for Girls, and all she has of her past is her mother's journal, which seems to unravel into madness. Ooh, a journal, yes. Then a letter invites Olivia to come home to Gallant. Yet when Olivia arrives, no one is expecting her. But Olivia is not about to leave the first place that feels like home. It doesn't matter if her cousin Matthew is hostile, or if she sees half-formed ghouls haunting the hallways. That's fine. That's normal. Olivia knows that Gallant is hiding secrets, and she is determined to uncover them. When she crosses a ruined wall at just the right moment, Olivia finds herself in a place that is Gallant, but not. The manor is crumbling, the ghouls are solid, and a mysterious figure rules over all. Now Olivia sees what has unraveled generations of her family and where her father may have come from. Olivia has always wanted to belong somewhere, but will she take her place as a Pryor, protecting our world against the master of the house, or will she take her place beside him? That seems absolutely fascinating. Now, on to the end of the video. Go! I hope that you guys are staying safe and enjoying your fall as much as you can. We only have a little bit of it left. We must cherish it. Hold it in our little hands and protect it as much as we can. If you want to like and share and subscribe, go right ahead. But what is most important is that you do not forget to love yourself.